Hey lovely, so today's style inspo will be the style on the left hand side. So let's get right into the cutting. So basically we're going to be needing our pattern paper and then our tape rule. Then you can get a pencil for yours. So what I'm going to be doing first is to go ahead to rule out all my measurements. So the first thing which I'm going to be locating on here will be my chest line or the chest point. So you can go ahead to confirm this measurement on your client's body, but that's basically what I'm going to be measuring out first. So followed by the bust point. So the bust point is going to be 9.5. Also go ahead to confirm this on your client's body. So for my client, I'm going to be using a bust point as 9.5 or 9.5. So also after that, I'm going to be marking the under bust on 14 inches. Also go ahead to confirm this on your client's body. So for my client, I'm going to be working with an under bust of 14 inch. So this is actually a bustier, so it is necessary that you confirm the bust and the bust point and the under bust measurement, so that your cup can form properly. So now the waist will be on 16, so I'll be needing this as well to mark my waist measurement. So after marking out this point, I'm going to just use my ruler to connect it this way. So basically what we're going to be doing is to draft the basic bodice for my client. So I think we should be familiar with this because we've done this several times on the channel. So I already went ahead to draw out other points. I made my shoulder slope already, and then my neck is just the basic neckline, which is the 3x3 neckline. So guys, let's go ahead to confirm all our measurements. So this is my chest line on 8, my bust point on 9.5, my under bust on 14, my waist on 16, and then the length of my blouse is on 25. So this length can actually vary depending on what your client wants. So what I did basically was to go ahead to slope my shoulder by half an inch, and then I'm going to be marking out my armhole. So I'll get the midpoint of what I have for my shoulder slope, mark it on that point, then I'll be going in by half an inch on this part. Then I will use my ruler now to arrange a nice point from the first armhole slope, from the first shoulder slope rather. Then I'm going to be using my curve now to blend a nice armhole into this. So lovely, this is what I have after I was done with it. So you can see how my armhole looks like. So I'll just extend the line if I need to. What I'm doing here is marking my nipple to nipple. So my client's nipple to nipple is 8 inch, so I divided by 2, and then I will be having 4. So I'm marking 4 inch randomly as my client's nipple to nipple. So I mark this on the chest line, on the waist, and then on the blouse length. So I'll just use my ruler now to connect it together so that I have a straight line. So go ahead and do yours this way. So what I'm going to be doing here now is I'll go ahead to mark how much cleavage I want to show. So for mine, I'll be using 6 inch. So my client does not want our cleavage to reveal that much, so I'm going to be using a new chest line now to be 6 inch. So this is how much I'm going to be covering the cleavage. So I'll roll this line to serve as a guide for how wide or how revealing I want the chest to be. So basically I'm going to mark that same nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2 on this point too, because it is my new chest line. So I'm going to be marking it and connecting it up this way. So basically I have my nipple to nipple measurement from the new chest line down to the length of my blouse. So I'll connect it to the length of my blouse this way. So I hope you've done this for yours as well. Now let's proceed. So what we're going to be doing now is taking our underbust contour in order for us to draw our bustier curve. So on this part I took 1 inch, and then on the other part I took 1 inch. Basically I'm going to be contouring this with 1 inch on both sides. So go ahead and do this for yours as well. So guys, what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be using my ruler now to connect this line to my underbust, because that is where my contouring is going to be starting from. So I'm going to connect from the length of the blouse and make it stop on the underbust for the first side, and then for the second side again I'll connect from the length of the blouse to the underbust. So this is what I'm going to be doing. Now the next stage is to go ahead now to come down by half inch or 1 inch from your bust point. So from the bust point you come down. So this is to avoid any sharp curve while you are doing this. So coming down, I came down by half an inch. Now I'm going to be using my curve now to blend into that half an inch. So you can use the curvy part of your ruler, but for me, I don't want this bustier to be too curvy, so I'll just be using this part for that side, and then for this other side I'm going to be using the curvy part, which is the cupped part. So also from that half inch, I just went ahead to arrange my ruler and made a curve into the half inch. So the essence of the half inch from dropping from the bust point is to eradicate any sharp edges. So I found out that this is actually works perfectly. So that is the reason why I always do this. So I'll just make sure I don't have any sharp edges. So now what I'm going to be doing now is to do my overbust tightening as well. So for my overbust tightening, I'm going to be tightening each side by half inch. So I'm going to be tightening it by half inch on both sides. So this is just what I'm going to be doing. So take that measurement and then use your ruler to arrange a nice curve this way from the chest point like this. So you can as well do it from the bust point, whichever way you find it convenient to do. So this is what I'm going to be doing. So this is what my bustier part will be looking like. Like I said, my client bust is just about 36 inches or 37 inch there about. So hence I don't want this to be too curved for her, because she doesn't really like when the bustier is too padded. So what I'm going to be doing now is just take all my round bust measurement, like my round body measurement, and then divide it by 4, as well as add my allowance to this. So that's what I'm going to be doing next. Now the first place I'm going to be starting with will be this point, which is where I did my over bust contouring. I used a total of 1 inch allowance, or 1 inch rather, for my contouring. So I'm going to be replacing that 1 inch now to that point. So the essence of the replacing it is because if you don't replace it, you find that there's a shortage after you are done there. So I already replaced my 1 inch. Then now take my bust circumference divided by 4, and then I'm going to be taking note of if there's any allowance. If there's none, I'll just go ahead to add my normal allowance to that. So I'm going to be taking my round bust measurement divided by 4, and then I'm going to be adding 2 inch allowance to this. So the same measurement I took there, which is my round bust measurement, pardon me, I'm going to be taking it here again, and then go ahead to add my allowance. So I'm actually very big on allowance. I like to work with a lot of allowance. So guys, since I already took the chest measurement, what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be arranging a new armhole into my bust point measurement. So what I'm going to be doing is just use my curve to make a curve like this. So this is what my new armhole looks like because of the 1 inch I used for the contouring on the top. So now what I'm going to be doing next is to take my round under bust measurement divided by 4. I'll go ahead to mark it there. Then I'm going to take note of the 1 inch I took on both sides, which will give me a total of 2. I'm going to be replacing it, and then I'm going to be adding another 2 inch allowance to this. So again, I took the round bust under bust measurement divided by 4. Then I took note of the allowance I used for the darting. So I placed it, and then my sewing allowance, I added it to it. So that is basically what I have on that part. Also, I took my waist measurement divided by 4. I replaced the measurement I used for the contouring. Then also I added extra 2 inch allowance to this. So on this part, which is on the length of the blouse, I'm going to be using my hip measurement. So my hip measurement divided by 4, I replaced my dart as well, and then I added extra 2 inch allowance to this. So after I'm done with that, I'll just basically connect all these points together. So you want to go ahead to make sure you take your time to do this, so that you don't have your bustier looking shaped in the wrong way. So I'm going to use my ruler now to arrange a nice curve just like this. So this is what I had after I was done with it. Now I'm going to go over to the sweetheart neck part. So basically I'm going to be working on my chest measurement for my sweetheart neckline, because my client actually wants it on that part. So I just made a curve for my new chest line into the old chest line, which is the 8 inch I had before, into the 6 inch I have on the top. Then from that part, I'll place my ruler this way again, and then arrange a curve into my armhole or the chest line. So this is basically what I'm going to be doing. Just watch carefully so that you can see what I'm doing. So I'll place my ruler carefully like this, and then arrange a curve this way to where my armhole began. So this is basically what I was trying to explain. Now after we are done with this, basically what we're going to be doing is we'll go ahead to cut this out carefully. So please watch carefully to see how I'm cutting. So cut along these lines as well, so that your pattern does not get spoiled. So take your time to cut. So if you actually need a yoke for this, for yours, you can go ahead to use the upper part as your yoke. Just go ahead to add other allowances if you're going to be using this as a yoke. But for this blouse, I'm not going to be needing a yoke for this. So what I'm going to do now is to match my darts together. But before I match my darts together, I will still go ahead to cut out others. So this is what I had after cutting it out. So now I'm going to be marking out the down part of the blouse, that is the way it is on the style. So on this point I came out by about 2 inches. So after on that part, I look for the midpoint of my side pattern, and then I make a curve this way, then I blended another curve this way. So I really don't know how to explain this part. Just watch carefully to see how my lines go. As you can see, I already use a tracer to first of all arrange this curve the way I wanted it to be before I went ahead to use my pencil to draw it out. So I'm just using my pencil to just check it and see if it is what I wanted. So you can actually do this as well on your pattern. Make sure you have exactly what you wanted on the pattern first of all before you go ahead to cut on your fabric. So this is what I decided to work with for my client. So this is how she wanted hers to be, and I was able to draft it out perfectly on the pattern. So now I'll just go ahead to cut this out. So you can take your time, especially on this lower part, so that you have the exact shape you need out. Or you can as well cut this on another paper and then make sure you get the shape you need before you proceed on the fabric itself. Alright, so this is basically what I had for my front piece. So thanks for watching, guys, and let me know if you like to see the back of this.